Welcome to this video sessions on Economics 114. I hope that the session will definitely assist you in understanding the key concepts in economics, assist you with the diagrams, which is an integral part of economics, as well as certain calculations that you have to be able to do. So the first video clip will be on the first chapter, what economics is about. And basically I'm going to focus on some key concepts that you have to be able to define in economics. Concepts like opportunity cost, what is economics about, the science of scarcity, and then also what do we mean by efficiency, and also what do we mean by the Latin term Ceteris paribus. So the first concept that we look at, basically we look at what is economics is about scarcity. The science of scarcity. And if you look at your slides also, we've got unlimited wants and we've got limited resources. So we need resources, we need goods to satisfy our wants, and we say then that goods have got utility. Goods and services have got utility to satisfy our wants. So basically, what does scarcity means? It means that our wants outstrip our resources. Okay, so we've got more wants than our resources. That means our resources are limited, and because of that, we cannot satisfy all our wants. So you can look at the slide there as well. The various resources that we need is capital, labor, entrepreneurship, as well as natural resources. And then what is scarcity? So scarcity is basically the condition where our wants are greater than the limited resources to satisfy the wants. So what economics is about is how individuals and society, with their limited resources, try to satisfy their unlimited wants. So this is what we study in economics, the study of human behavior, and basically this is what economics is about, the science of scarcity. So this is your first thing. If you haven't heard of economics, the first time that you study economics, this is what economics is about, the science of scarcity, and it's a social science like political science, etc. And this is what we study in economics. So this is the first key concept that you need to understand. The second one that we're going to look at is the concept of opportunity cost. So opportunity cost, and it's a very important concept. What do we mean by opportunity cost? Now, because of scarcity, it means that we cannot satisfy our unlimited wants, all of it, because we've got limited resources. So because of scarcity, every individual must make choices. Because of limited resources, you don't have all the resources to satisfy all your unlimited wants. So scarcity leads to making of choices, and if you make choices, you incur what we call opportunity cost. So what is opportunity cost? You have to be able to define what is opportunity cost. Is the most highly valued opportunity or alternative forfeited when a choice is made. So let's look at a practical example. You can also look in your textbook. Say, for example, you must now attend, for example, an ITV session or contact session, but you had the choice either to go out with your family to a restaurant or watch a movie or read a book or whatever, but you have decided now to go to the ITV session or the contact session. So what is the opportunity cost of reading, or what are you forfeiting? You're not reading the book, you're not staying with your family. So what is the opportunity cost of going to the ITV session? Is the best alternative that you forgo. So we talk about the best foregone opportunity. Okay, so basically you have made a choice. So you are not reading, you're not going to watch a movie or whatever, and you are going to the ITV session or the contact session. So the opportunity cost of the ITV session is your next best alternative that you are now forfeiting, that you are sacrificing. So if the next best alternative was reading a book or staying with your family or whatever, then the opportunity cost of going to the ITV session will be reading the book, or depending on the individual, going to the movie or whatever. So what we are incurring every time when we are making choices, we are incurring opportunity cost. Every time when we make a choice, we incur opportunity cost. So this concept is very important. And also there's a saying by economists, there's nothing as a free lunch. So in some countries you get free housing, free education, etc. But it doesn't mean that everything is for free. There is also opportunity cost there, because if the government provide free housing, free medication or free medical care, etc., then it means that resources that could have been used to build dams or houses or whatever are now being used to give that free medical care or free education. So there's always opportunity cost. There's nothing as a free lunch. So that's why this concept is, whenever you do whatever economics, on what level, opportunity cost will be there. And then also what is important is then there's a section in your textbook that refers to opportunity cost and behavior. Opportunity cost affects behavior because that is what we study in macroeconomics, the study of human behavior. How they satisfy their unlimited wants with their limited resources, or how does society deal with this problem or this dilemma. So what we are saying is that, say for example, in terms of the textbook example, if you are studying but you are also waitering part-time in a restaurant over weekends or in the evening, how can opportunity cost change your behavior? At the moment, say for example, you earn 100 Rand per hour, just as an example, waitering, and so you have to make a decision. Either you will study or you will go and waiter for that weekend. Now, what will happen now if the restaurant owner push up the rate, say to 150 Rand per hour? How will that affect your behavior? Because it means now that the opportunity cost, if you decide to study, then the opportunity cost of studying is the 100 Rand that you forfeit in the first instance. Now, the opportunity cost, if you decide to study, then what is the opportunity cost of studying? Is now 150 Rand per hour that you are sacrificing. That is the best alternative that you forego, the foregone opportunity. So how will this affect the behavior of that student? It means that what the student will basically now do is that the student will be less likely to go to class, because he can earn 150 Rand per hour, which is more than the 100 Rand per hour that he could earn previously. So how will that affect his behavior? It means that the student will decide, no, I will rather go and waiter because I can earn more. So the opportunity cost, what is a conclusion that we can draw from this, is that the higher the opportunity cost of doing something, from 100 to 150, the higher the opportunity cost of doing something, of studying, the less likely it will be done. So it means that if the opportunity cost increase from 100 to 150, then the student will less likely decide to study, and less, more likely you will go to waiter. So opportunity cost, and it affects the behavior of an individual. The higher the opportunity cost, the less likely you will do a certain activity, the less likely you will study, and the more likely you will do the other activity. Okay, so this is opportunity cost, and some important points there is that economists believe that a change in opportunity cost can change a person's behavior. We looked at that example there in the textbook. And then also, what is important, the other important point here, the higher the opportunity cost of doing something, the less likely it will be done. And we use that example of the waitering. So this is very important. And then you can also look at this slide in your textbook, that this exhibit is basically because of the economic problem. What is the economic problem? Is scarcity. And then because of scarcity, people have to make choices. And when choices are being made, opportunity costs are being incurred. And then also changes in opportunity costs from the 100 Rand to the 150 Rand changes people's behavior. Then also what is important is that scarcity, because we've got limited resources and people have got unlimited ones, there's a need for what we call a rationing device. Now a rationing device is simply, the rationing device that we use is the price. If you can't pay the price, basically you cannot afford an article. So what is a rationing device? If you go back to it, it's a means of deciding who gets of the available resources and goods. So in reality, the rationing device that we use in reality is the price mechanism. So if you cannot afford buying a new car or this product because you don't have the resources, then you don't have the rationing device. So you won't be able to get hold of that resource or that goods and services. So because of scarcity, there will always be a rationing device that is needed. And people will compete for this rationing device. So there will always be competition. So scarcity and competition are linked. And just take note of that as well. So, so that is the, basically what we said is there is scarcity. Scarcity leads to choices and also to rationing devices is needed. And then when you make choices, you incur opportunity cost. And the higher the opportunity cost, the less likely it will be done. Then the last point, or basically the last two key concepts that I want to focus on is efficiency. Now, when we talk economists, when they mention efficiency, basically it's a question of where the marginal benefits of an activity equals the marginal cost of an activity. So if you look at in the textbook, when we reach an efficient point, the marginal benefits will be equal to the marginal cost. Now, you don't need to know the diagram, but basically if you look at the diagram in your exhibit 2 there, marginal benefits are being measured on the vertical axis and marginal cost, that is your origin, your zero, and then the activity on the vertical or horizontal axis. Now, that can be anything. Number of hours that maybe you study, number of hours that you exercise or whatever. So in the textbook is a number of hours that you study. So you can look at that exhibit there. If you look at the efficiency, there's this exhibit. Now what you see in that exhibit is that they give you all the hours, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, up till 4, 5 hours that an individual can study, and what is being measured on the vertical axis is the marginal benefit and the marginal cost of your hours of study. So we've got one curve that is the marginal benefit curve, which is downward sloping. What actually happens, what is marginal benefits? Let's define marginal benefits. Marginal benefits is the additional benefits. If you can go back to what is the definition of marginal benefits, is the additional benefits that you get from an additional by consuming or doing an additional activity or consuming an additional unit of a good or doing one additional activity. So it's the additional benefits that you get by doing an additional activity or by consuming an additional unit of a certain good. And the marginal cost will be what? Is the additional cost that you incur by consuming an additional unit of a good or undertaking one more activity or unit of an activity. Now, when we reach a point of efficiency, the two must be equal. Now, the marginal benefit curve has got a downward slope, and the reason for that is as you study more, as your hours of studying increases, the marginal benefits decreases. And then the marginal cost curve has got an upward slope, MC. Now, why does the marginal cost curve have an upward slope? Simply because as you study more, the marginal cost, the additional cost of studying increases. So, where the two is equal at this point, at that point, that is the point of efficiency. So, at this point, and you can come down in this example, when you study 2 hours, that is where you reach a point of efficiency, where the marginal benefits is equal to the marginal cost. In this area, up till 2 hours in this area, what will happen? The marginal benefits will be greater than the marginal cost. So a student will still study because he can still increase his net benefits, and the net benefits is the difference between the marginal benefits and the marginal cost. So when he comes to this point, the 2 hours, he is maximizing the net benefits. Okay. If a student studies further than 2 hours, more than 2 hours, then basically marginal cost will be greater than marginal benefits, or marginal benefits will be smaller than marginal cost. Then there will not be a point of, there will be inefficiency. Okay, so a student will not study further than that. So what we're then saying, to summarize, is when will efficiency be reached? Is when the marginal benefit of consuming an additional unit or doing an additional activity of a certain activity or exercise is equal to the marginal cost of consuming an additional unit of a product or doing an additional unit of an activity. So this will become very important when we looked at, different firms operating in different market structures like perfect competition, monopolistic competition. Then we will look at what we call productive efficiency and allocative efficiency. So in chapter 1, we're just defining the term efficiency, which is a very critical concept in microeconomics. So that is efficiency. And, the concepts that we just look at now is the key concepts that you need to be able to understand in chapter 1. That is scarcity, opportunity cost, and then efficiency. Maybe just to bring in another concept is the concept of Ceteris paribus, which you can also have a look at. What do we mean by Ceteris paribus? And Ceteris paribus, this is a Latin term, and we will use it further on. And Ceteris paribus simply means that we only focus on the key variables when we build up a theory. Ceteris paribus simply means all other things remain unchanged or equal. So when we come later to chapter 2, we will look at the relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. Then we just focus on these two variables, and we keep all other variables that can influence, also quantity demanded. We keep that out of the equation. So just take note of this concept as well. Ceteris paribus is a Latin term which simply means that all things remain equal or unchanged or constant. So nothing changes. So please take note of this concepts, scarcity. What is the economic problem? What are we studying in economics is the science of scarcity. We looked at opportunity cost. We have to make choices because of limited resources. So we're incurring opportunity cost every time. And opportunity cost changes behavior. Then also what we looked at, efficiency, where the marginal benefit is equal to the marginal cost. And what do we mean by marginal benefits and marginal cost? And then also the concept of Ceteris paribus, which is a Latin term, where economists, when they build up theories, trying to predict and explain a phenomena, what will happen if there will be a change in the quantity demanded because of the change in the price, then all other influences are kept out of the equation. So chapter 1 is about key concepts. And normally I will test you on your ability, can you define these concepts? And also look at the slides there and consult your textbook. And then also, the video clips that will be uploaded on the Moodle site. So that is chapter 1, which basically outline key concepts.